Hi guys, doing and welcome to another Arc Garage video. I didn't post any content in a while, but here we are back again, and today I'm gonna show you how to replace broken handbrake cables on Alfa 147 and GT. Now, as you can see right here, the handbrake doesn't have any resistance whatsoever. At first one cable broke, and soon after the other one snapped as well. I'm gonna start with the gator. Now I've already removed it, but I'm gonna show you how to remove it anyway. I'm gonna undo this button on the side first, and you should start from the back. Now pull up the back end first, and you can just slide it over the handle, just like that. To get a bit more slack when installing new cables, I'm gonna undo this adjustment screw. However, I'm not gonna undo it all the way, and since there is no tension on the cable, I can do this by hand. I'm gonna tackle the right side first. Since there is no tension on the cable, I can just pull this metal piece out and guide the cable out. Now I'm gonna undo this 10mm screw. If you see that they are rusty, just spray them good with the WD-40. Also, sometimes the metal inserts from the cables tend to stay on the thread. If that happens, you can basically use just a pair of pliers to get them out. Moving on to the plastic mount, or whatever you want to call it, you can just pull up on the top part and you'll be able to get the cable out. Again, since I got slack because I undid that adjustment screw, I can just pull the metal piece from this metal mount, and lastly I can get this side out. Alright, here it is. Now, one of the most important things you need to do is compare it to the new ones. You must do this because the cables on right and left sides are different size. The one on the right side is a bit shorter. That's why you need to make sure that you grab the right one. Before I start with the installation, I'm gonna remove the cable on the left side as well. You can see that it's snapped off completely. I'm just gonna pull it out. And again, I'm gonna repeat everything that I did on the right side. However, this one is a bit more rusty, so I'm gonna use some WD-40. Alright, now I'm gonna use my small ratchet and 10mm socket to undo this screw. This one goes much harder compared to the right side. Alright, and here it is, and as you can see, the metal insert stayed on the thread. As I said, you can use just a pair of pliers to get it off. As you can see, the insulation on this one is bad as well, and when that happens, the cable is not gonna be good. I'm just gonna pull it up, and lastly I'm gonna get this end piece out. Now the installation of new ones is gonna be the reverse process. I'm gonna start with this end. I'm gonna get this rubber piece off. I'm gonna push the metal side in and get the rubber piece on again. Next, I'm gonna move to this plastic mount, and I'm gonna put my 10mm screw back on. You don't need to over tighten it. It's very easy to ruin these threads since they are rusty. Lastly, I'm gonna guide the end of the cable through this metal mount. I'm gonna push this rubber piece down and push this metal end in. Just like that. Also, I'm gonna make sure these rubber protectors are in the right spot. I'm gonna repeat the same process for the cable on the left side. I'm gonna start with this end piece. Now to install it to this metal mount, I'm gonna push the rubber down, push this metal piece in and put the rubber back on. Moving on to the second metal mount, I'm just gonna push the cable in. I'm gonna put this 10mm screw back on. And I'm gonna guide the cable through this back mount. As I did on the other side, I'm just gonna push this metal piece back in. I'm gonna push this rubber piece back on, and I'm gonna make sure that everything is in its place. Since there is no tension on the cables, there is a good chance that one of these metal ends might pop off. Last thing left to do is to adjust the handbrake. You can see that it goes all the way up. There isn't enough tension on the cables.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna tighten this adjustment screw. I'm gonna start by hand, and then I'm gonna have to use a 13mm socket or wrench. Alright, so I'm gonna use my 13mm socket, as I said, extension and a small ratchet. And that is pretty much it. You can see that the handbrake is somewhere in the middle, maybe a bit more up, and that in my opinion is pretty much spot on. Anyway, that would be all for this video. If you liked it, hit a like button and support our channel by subscribing and by sharing our content with the rest of Alfa GT.